Long before the birth of Christ, the Jews had ceased to be a united people, even in matters of the law, though the law was their chief reliance as a means of maintaining national solidarity. As early as 80 years after the return from the Babylonian exile, and we know not with accuracy how much earlier, there had come to be recognized as men having authority certain scholars afterward known as scribes, and honored as rabbis or teachers. In the days of Ezra and Nehemiah, these specialists in the law constituted a titled class, to whom deference and honor were paid. Ezra is designated the priest, the scribe, even a scribe of the words of the commandments of the Lord, and of his statutes to Israel. The scribes of those days did valuable service under Ezra, and later under Nehemiah, in compiling the sacred writings then extant. And in Jewish usage, those appointed as guardians and expounders of the law came to be known as members of the Great Synagogue, or Great Assembly, concerning which we have little information through canonical channels. According to Talmudic record, the organization consisted of 120 eminent scholars. The scope of their labors, according to the admonition traditionally perpetuated by themselves, is thus expressed: be careful in judgment, set up many scholars, and make a hedge about the law. They followed this behest by much study and careful consideration of all traditional details in administration. By multiplying scribes and rabbis unto themselves, and, as some of them interpreted the requirement of setting up many scholars, by writing many books and tractates, moreover they made a fence or hedge about the law, by adding numerous rules which prescribed with great exactness the officially established proprieties for every occasion. Scribes and rabbis were exalted to the highest rank in the estimation of the people, higher than that of the Levitical or priestly orders, and rabbinical sayings were given precedence over the utterances of the prophets, since the latter were regarded as but messengers or spokesmen, whereas the living scholars were of themselves sources of wisdom and authority. Such secular powers as Roman suzerainty permitted the Jews to retain were vested in the hierarchy, whose members were able thus to gather unto themselves practically all official and professional honors. As a natural result of this condition, there was practically no distinction between Jewish civil and ecclesiastical law, either as to the code or its administration. Rabbinism comprised as an essential element the doctrine of the equal authority of oral rabbinical tradition with the written word of the law. The aggrandizement implied in the application of the title rabbi and the self-pride manifest in welcoming such adulation were especially forbidden by the Lord, who proclaimed himself the one Master. And as touching the interpretation of the title held by some as Father, Jesus proclaimed but one Father, and he in heaven. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your Master, even Christ, and all ye are brethren. And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father, which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your Master, even Christ. The scribes, whether so named or designated by the more distinguishing appellation, rabbis, were repeatedly denounced by Jesus because of the dead literalism of their teachings and the absence of the spirit of righteousness and the virile morality therefrom. And in such denunciations, the Pharisees are often coupled with the scribes. The judgment of the Christ upon them is sufficiently expressed by his withering imprecation: Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites!